Feeling weighed down by sadness and wondering why happiness feels so far out of reach? Here's something life-changing that no one ever tells you. The answers you're looking for aren't in some big achievement or outside success. They're already within you. Imagine this. You're chasing happiness. Running, chasing, working endlessly. Yet it feels like the more you run, the further it gets. Today I want to show you why Buddhist wisdom holds the key to stopping this endless chase. We're going to explore how you can let go of fear, focus on the present, and build true happiness. Not the fleeting kind, but one that stays with you, no matter what's going on in your life. By the end, you'll have a new way to see life. One that makes sadness easier to face and happiness much easier to find. Let's start here. Why do we feel stuck in sadness? Think about it. There are days when it feels like no matter what you do, you can't escape this sense of heaviness. Maybe it's regret from the past, a mistake you keep replaying in your head, or anxiety about the future. Will things ever get better? Am I good enough? And then, society throws a solution at you. Hustle harder, achieve more, buy this, do that, climb that ladder. But you've probably noticed by now that these quick fixes don't work. You might distract yourself temporarily, but the sadness doesn't actually leave. Why? Because we've been taught to look for happiness in all the wrong places, outside of ourselves. Here's where Buddhist wisdom steps in like a breath of fresh air. It doesn't sugarcoat the truth or tell you life will always be easy. Instead, it teaches you how to face life as it really is and find peace within it. There are 3 powerful ideas we're going to dive into today. Being present, the art of now. Letting go of fear through building happiness through consistency. Let's break them down one by one, starting with the first, being present, the art of now. Here's the truth most people overlook. Your mind is almost never in the present. Right now, even as you listen to this, your thoughts might be wandering to something that happened earlier today, or something you're worried about tomorrow. That's just how the mind works. But here's the thing. Sadness thrives when you're living in the past or the future. Think about it. How often does your sadness come from regrets, guilt, or what-ifs about things that have already happened? Or maybe it's fear. Fear about whether you'll succeed, about what people think, about not being enough. What Buddhism teaches is this. If you can learn to anchor yourself in the present, you take away most of the fuel for your sadness. The present is simple. It's what's happening right now, nothing more, nothing less. When you focus on that, the past and future lose their grip. Try this. Close your eyes for a moment and take one slow, deep breath. Feel the air as it fills your lungs. Notice the sensation of your feet touching the ground. That moment, that feeling, that's the present. And the present is always a safe place. You don't have to live in the present 247, that's not realistic. But moments like this, when you return to it, they add up. They start to create space in your mind space where sadness doesn't rule everything. Letting go of fear. Next, let's talk about fear, because this is a big one. Fear is one of the strongest drivers of sadness. Fear of failure, fear of being alone, fear of the unknown. But here's the truth. Most of our fears aren't real. Think of the last time you were afraid of something, but when it actually happened or didn't happen, it wasn't as bad as you thought. Fear is like this fog. It feels heavy and real, but when you walk straight into it, you realize there's nothing there. In Buddhism, there's a concept called non-attachment. It doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you let go of the tight grip you have on what you think should happen. When you loosen that grip, you realize something important. Fear only controls you when you avoid it, face it, and it starts to shrink. Here's a simple example. If you're afraid of failure, start by failing small. Maybe try something new, a skill, a habit, something where it's okay if you stumble. The more you see that failure isn't the end of the world, the more fear loses its power. And here's a key question to ask yourself. What's one small step I can take today? Even if I'm afraid, one step, no matter how tiny. Fear doesn't disappear all at once, but step by step it becomes something you can handle. Pre-building happiness. Through consistency, let's move to the final piece, creating happiness not through one big leap, but through consistent action over time. Here's the reality. Lasting happiness isn't about achieving a big goal or reaching some perfect moment. Those moments fade, don't they? You get the thing you wanted so badly and for a while you feel great, but soon you're back to chasing the next thing. What really matters are the habits you build, the small consistent steps that align with what you value most. Happiness comes from the process, not the outcome. Take a minute to think about this. What's something small you can do each day that brings a little meaning into your life? Maybe it's spending 10 minutes journaling, walking outside, or working toward a personal goal. It doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be consistent. There's a famous Buddhist metaphor about water dripping into a pot. It goes like this. Imagine a pot with a single drop of water falling into it every few seconds. At first, the pot is empty, but over time, those tiny drops fill the pot completely. That's how happiness works. It's built one small moment at a time. And here's the most powerful realization of all. Your happiness isn't out there somewhere waiting for you to find it. It's right here in the present, in the courage to face your fears and in the small actions you take every day. You don't have to fix yourself. You're not broken. Sadness doesn't mean something's wrong with you. It means you're alive. And being alive means you have the power to grow, to change, to create. Right now, in this moment, you have everything you need to start. Sadness is a part of life, but it doesn't have to define your life. By focusing on the present, letting go of fear, and embracing the power of consistency, you can build a life that's full of peace, joy, and meaning. Not because life is perfect, but because you've learned how to navigate it with strength and clarity.